Hey, what's up everyone, this is Ben5. Haven't made a video in quite some time. Well, I shouldn't say that. I made videos, I just haven't uploaded videos. I may in the future upload some, like maybe do like a lost video thing, because I've said that before and I never did it. But this time I might actually do it, depending on how I like them after I get through editing. Number two, sorry if I look a little fucking disheveled. It's been raining for like the past 2 weeks, and it's not letting up, and it's humid as fuck, so I'm just sweating my ass off most of the day. Also, I'm going to be drinking in this video. It seems like, for all my Illuminati videos, just like the Venom shirts, drinking is becoming par for the course. So, why not share what I'm drinking? Guinness Black Lager, this is not too bad. It's newer. I'm also drinking some Budweiser Black Crown. And, yeah, I've been into a black mood lately. And then my good old Budweiser. Also, the last thing I want to mention before I get started with this is a friend of mine on here. A lot of people, they know him. A lot of people hate him. A lot of people really love him. I happen to be in the love him section, even though I don't agree with him on 100% of the things that he says. However, I always think that he makes a good argument for whatever he's arguing for or against. And personally, I really like the guy. And some of you are gonna remember him. He's gone by a few channel names here on YouTube. There's Rith Randall, Physical Conservative, Malayan Dialogue, Cardinal Virtues. I believe the Ragnarok Protocol channel's still up. Unfortunately, him and the Skeptical Heretic didn't really get that one off the ground like they were wanting to. But he has a new channel. He has a new video. He did it on the whole Cult of Dusty drama shit that's been going on. It's a very good video. It's only like 17 minutes, which is kind of short for him. It's kind of short for me too. But I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the description. If you know who he is and you like him, hey, he's back. If you don't know who he is, go check him out. If you hate the guy, oh well, fuck it. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this shit, because there's a few things I want to talk about. Because the thing is with this Illuminati shit, it's weird that I even got comments on other videos that I commented on. Someone said, hey, you know, you need to do more of those Illuminati videos. So it's like, okay, well, people like them. But honestly, I don't even know why I'm, like, numbering them. It's like every fucking time I do one, I just get more and more stupid shit. And I hear more stupid fucking people, even on my older ones. Like, on my first ones, it seems like my newer ones are getting more views. Well, more comments, I should say, than the older ones. Because it seemed like the older ones, that's where I could get all the people, the real dumbasses. I could read their fucking comments, especially considering the fact that my first one has over 20,000 views. I think the last time I looked at like 22,000 views, which is by far my most watched video. The second one, I think it has a few thousand, I forget how many. But it seems like lately I'm getting more comments. But the sad thing is, I don't think these people are fucking watching it. Because the sad fact is this. When it comes to conspiracy theories, and I used to be in this category in a way as well, definitely not like these fucks here. It seems like they don't want to hear anything that might kind of burst their bubble with this shit. And it's really sad, because the thing is, supposedly they're truth seekers. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but there's a guy who some of you guys may know, especially Americans, by the name of Joe Rogan. Now, he's a comedian, and I actually think he has some pretty good comedy. It's a little over the top, but I think he's still pretty funny. I mean, Dennis Leary is kind of over the top, and I still thought he was a pretty good comedian. But he was most famous for the MMA shit is kind of like his newer thing. But he used to host that show Fear Factor, and I think they try to bring it back. Or maybe it is back. I don't fucking know. I haven't watched that show in years. I really didn't enjoy it that much. I just kind of watched it. But there's a video, and if I remember, I'll link it in the description, where he's talking to Alex Jones. Now, for those of you who know who Alex Jones is, you're probably going to be like, what the fuck, really? Especially if you were like me and you actually thought Joe Rogan had some intelligent things to say. Now, I couldn't really stomach more than a few fucking minutes of this video because it just seemed like mutual ass licking. So I just stopped watching. I'm like, fuck this. But he said to Alex Jones that he's a truth seeker. Really. Okay, the thing that fucks me up about like this whole truth seeker thing is the fact that they're not open to other ideas. They're really not. Especially the, like, Jones cult. They're very into, nope, this is a fact. There is no fucking doubt that it is a fact. You are wrong, and if you disagree with me, you're a fucking idiot. You know, you just fucking drink the Kool-Aid, and you just listen to whatever the fuck they tell you, even though, again, and I have to mention this so many fucking times, it's ironic that I'm told that I'm a fucking sheep, because I just believe everything they tell me, even though, no, I don't. The thing is, with, like, the war in Iraq, this is just a recent example, fairly recent, it's like 10 fucking years ago, but, you know, they were saying, oh, Saddam Hussein, he had direct ties to Al-Qaeda and 9/11. I didn't fucking buy that one bit. The only fucking time I really believed the government was when Colin Powell came out and said that Saddam Hussein does have weapons of mass destruction. And the reason I believe that is because I thought, at least up until that point, Colin Powell actually had some fucking integrity. Turns out he didn't. Maybe he was just, you know, trying to, you know, be a part of the fucking team. And I think he kind of fucked his political career by doing that. In fact, I think he fucked his political career just by standing by some of these Republican idiots, because that was pretty much the beginning of the end of the Republican Party. But then again, you know, in his defense, he did happen to leave the Bush administration. So good on him for that. But nonetheless, you know, it really pissed me off that he lied. But, so, I don't believe everything the government fucking tells me. Some of the things they say, yes, they're absolute fucking horseshit. And sometimes they blatantly lie, or they'll say something just to convince us that we should do something. So the thing is, no, I don't just believe everything I'm told, but the conspiracy theorists, they believe everything they're fucking told. Now, fairly recently, I was talking to Coughlin on Skype, and he actually told me, because the Illuminati shit had somehow got brought up, and he said that he used to believe it, and I didn't know that. You know, like, actually, I think this is the second time I ever, like, directly talked to him. That's, you know, I mean, we PM'd each other back and forth and shit like that, but, you know, this is like the first time we kind of talked face to face, at least over Skype. But, he said he used to believe all of this, and so I guess he was in the same boat as me, and he said the reason why, basically, was because he wanted to question authority, and that's, like, questioning the ultimate fucking authority, well, outside of, you know, questioning God, you know, I mean, since we're both atheists, I mean, it doesn't even really fucking come up into the equation, we don't believe it. We're not questioning God, we just don't believe it, because no one's really fucking set a definition for what God really is. But anyway, I thought that was actually a really good point, and maybe that's why I believed it. I happen to, you know, be friends with quite a few conspiracy theorists, especially in high school, and a little bit after that, and I was reading some of the books, and it seemed to make sense. Now, one thing, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, because I've done these videos, and they're pretty fucking long, so if I say something again, oh well, I'm guaranteeing you guys aren't watching these videos directly before this. You're probably not watching it like episode 1 through 6 of fucking Star Wars. But anyway, one thing that I found kind of disturbing was, I was reading Richard Belzer's book, I believe it's called UFOs, JFK, and Elvis, Conspiracies You Don't Have to Be Crazy to Believe. I believe is the title of it. I know I own it. And, he was talking about FEMA camps, where like they basically put dissenters into these basically trailer parks. They're FEMA camps. And they appear to be empty. And that kind of disturbed me, because I remember during Hurricane Katrina, you know, when FEMA was in there, they said there's a ton of like fucking trailers, and they all appear to be empty, and they're like unkempt and shit like that. And that kind of like, oh fuck, maybe he was right. Maybe there is a connection here. And it's like, no, they just had, you know, incompetent people running FEMA at the time. Who was that? John Brown, I think, who was running it. Yeah, heck of a job, Brownie. So, I mean, maybe that's why people believe it. It's because it's questioning authority, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not bad to question, you know, things that come at you. You know, if you say, I don't know if I trust the administration when they say this or this or this, that's fine. You know, because I know, you know, recently, some people, they were bitching about Obama, and this was a little bit before the election. They were saying, oh, you know, he said he wasn't going to do this about marijuana dispensaries and this and that, and he ended up doing it, even though there's a reason for that. You know, there's international law, and there's other fucking laws. Yeah, he may have said, yeah, I don't want to do this, or I'm not going to, but then he ended up having to. And yeah, that is a fucking character flaw. If you say, I'm not going to do this, you know, it's kind of like the read my lips shit from George H.W. Bush, you know. It kind of fucks your reputation up a little bit, at least. But, you know, it's really sad that to be considered a free thinker with these dickheads, you have to believe everything they fucking tell you. Sorry, I'm gonna get a different one. Fuck it. Kind of craving the black lager here. Might as well polish this one off. Now, one thing that has always been brought up is people, they will say something, you know, something like, such and such is happening, this is going on, and you know, this is going on, trust me. Now, one of these guys, he said, you know, trust me. He actually put that. That was the end of the fucking comment, in capital letters, no less. It wasn't just, trust me. No, trust me. And I'm like, why the fuck would I trust you? Now, the whole thing with that is like, what do you mean trust you? I don't know who the fuck, some random cunt on the internet, I'm just supposed to say, okay, I trust this guy. I trust him. You know, that's the shit that Jesse Ventura does on that fucking show Conspiracy Theory. You know, it just, I believe him. I trust him. Why? What the fuck do they do to earn your trust? Why? Okay, so the government, which it's always funny, and I think I mentioned this in the one of the last videos I talked about that fucking show. You know, it's like, I was a Navy SEAL, I was a governor, I've been exposed to this, now I think it's time I talk. Even though he's not saying shit, he's asking other fucking people, but no, he believes everyone. You know, because supposedly this shit's happening, that shit's happening. He has no real reason to believe them. And in all fairness, maybe he has no real reason to trust the government, and I will give him that. You know, he was a Navy SEAL, he knows certain things, he was a governor, and he knows how government works. But why does he just trust them? He just trusts them. There's no fucking reason to. Just like there's no fucking reason to trust Alex Jones. Someone told me, and I've had to mention this before, that supposedly Alex Jones, he works for the CIA, and it's been proven. So the thing is, who the fuck am I supposed to trust? Some random asshole who says that Alex Jones is fucking correct, or some random asshole who says that Alex Jones works for the CIA, and he's basically lying to us? So, to me, that's a huge fucking, you know, blemish on this whole conspiracy theorist shit. You know, Alex Jones says all kinds of shit, and supposedly he's predicted this and this, like little minor things. It's basically like looking at your fucking horoscope, and it's like, oh fuck, that, I faced a hardship today, and my horoscope said I would. Okay, that means you believe it all of a sudden? No, okay, a little bit might be true, but Alex Jones hasn't predicted shit. But then again, he's just some random fucking fat fucking blowhard who just says shit. You know, he doesn't try to make any fucking points. Whenever he's on a show with people that disagree with him, he just shouts them down. That Piers Morgan interview is a huge indicator of that. You know, oh, we're gonna do this and that. Okay, so in other words, instead of having like a real conversation or even a debate, you just have to scream to make sure that no one else can fucking talk. Which, I'm sorry, but Piers Morgan, he should have been more of a fucking asshole in that interview. He's sometimes an asshole, but he should have been a complete fucking asshole. He should have pulled a Bill O'Reilly, cut his fucking mic. It's time for me to fucking talk now. But he didn't. So, unfortunately, we didn't have a fucking good conversation. It just made him look like a goddamn lunatic. Now, to a lot of the conspiracy theorists, like, no, see, he knows what Piers Morgan was going to do, and he did this to make sure this wouldn't happen. What the fuck ever. But anyway, you know, the conversation kept going. And I believe I'm getting the conversation right in my fucking head. I called the guy a fucking moron. Because I'm sorry, if you are, you know, an adult and, you know, you're well into your adult years and you believe that, I'm sorry, but you're a fucking moron. You know, you really are. I mean, you accept things just without any kind of fucking proof. Because it goes against the government, you accept it. So what did he say? Well, I'm not an idiot. You know, I have a degree, I think he said, in astronomy. Which, to me, it's like, okay, is that supposed to be some kind of half-assed argument from authority here? Because that means nothing. Number one, I know what he's trying to say. He's basically trying to say, well, obviously I have a degree, which I seriously fucking doubt, and I'll talk about that in a few. But the thing is, astronomy has nothing to do with this. You know, that's basically like a biologist trying to tell me about geology. It's like, okay, has nothing to do with the other. Okay, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? But whatever. So, you know, and I called him out, like, I seriously fucking doubt you have a degree in that. Because number one, your grammar is shit, your spelling is shit, And, you know, you're using this logical fallacy. But and one third thing I don't think I mentioned was the fact that if he does have a degree in any kind of science, he should know that science works with evidence and proof. So if you have evidence to back you up, okay, you can keep going with it. But if you don't, like conspiracy theories, then you say, okay, well, I'm going to have to either find some evidence or just kind of give that up or wait till there's some evidence. Because there is no evidence for this shit. And I'm going to say quickly, don't you think that if there were really any hard evidence, someone would have come out and exposed this shit? Don't you think that would have happened? Oh, well, it hasn't. And the thing is, like, they don't even have to, like, say their name. But then again, I mean, most reporters, they want that one fucking story that's going to make their career. They'll do that. They'll do just about anything to get that. Oh, but let me guess, you know, because I'm going to probably hear, they're part of the conspiracy, right? Whatever, even though we have people like Deep Throat. But anyway, and which brings me to another thing. And it's a little tangent, you know, it's kind of like the Bradley Manning shit, you know, it's like he released all this shit to WikiLeaks, even though, you know, I'm sorry, and even my brother thinks that Bradley Manning is a fucking hero, and he deserves, you know, this, and, you know, we shouldn't be prosecuting him and all this bullshit, which, no, I'm sorry, but he was an asshole. He shouldn't have just fucking released all of that, because it was just dumb shit that he released, you know, and I feel bad for him in a certain way, but then again, he knows he fucked up. And I'm going to say, at least, you know, the guy, he wasn't trying to make money from it, but he did fuck up. He could have given that to some kind of reputable news source, and they could have gone through and found the shit that was actually relevant, not just what, you know, our government was saying about ambassadors from other countries, because that's fucking irrelevant to everything. You know, them complaining about people, that's just basically, like, releasing gossip and telling the people, oh, you know what he said about you? He said that you're an asshole because you did this once. So, the thing is, you know, whistleblowers, you would think, if all this shit's true, and I can trust you, and the shit's backed up by facts, that they would release this to make their fucking career. Even if they were going to die, you could probably say, like, well, that's funny that he released all this shit about the government, and he just happened to fucking die. Because it's not like William Cooper, who, you know, supposedly he was speaking out against, he's the one that wrote Behold the Pale Horse. He was killed because he was speaking the truth. No, he was killed because he was armed to the fucking teeth, and he was fucking insane, and fucking threatening law enforcement, but whatever. So anyway, when it comes to, so I said all this shit, and one thing that he said that's just like, it's so fucking laughable, because it's like, really, he said, you know, regarding my, my assessment of him that his grammar and his spelling are shit, I'm no poet. Neither am I. I don't fucking have to be to actually write somewhat decent, in a decent fucking manner. You know, I don't need that. You know, in fact, I know, personally, if you guys read the Huffington Post, if you guys know who Peter Shane is, I actually know him personally. And when I read the shit that he writes, I'm like, fuck, I feel like an idiot. But I know at least basic fucking grammar and spelling, but whatever. You know, so I'm no poet. Well, that's fucking obvious. But anyway, you know, he was trying all this shit like, oh, well, you know, I have this degree. Whatever. So I basically shut his fucking ass down. And it's so fucking easy most of the time, you know, because I've heard this shit before, and I've done the fucking research on this. And that's the thing, you know, and I've had to mention this so many fucking times. They always say, you haven't done the research. Yes, I have. I fucking have, okay? And I'm tired of fucking saying, I used to believe this shit. I used to believe that. I have to say it so many fucking times. I used to believe this shit. I used to believe this shit. It's pretty fucking simple. It's like, you know, a former KKK member who, you know, realizes they're a bunch of fucking idiots. They're just hate mongers. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They make shit up about blacks. You know, they try to make arguments that don't fucking work. And here's the way they fucking think of people. Oh, you haven't even read what the KKK believes. Actually, yeah, they have, because they used to be a part of it. Just like me. I used to think, now I don't mean just like me, I used to be part of the KKK. Nothing like that. I used to believe this conspiracy theory shit. Then I grew the fuck up. So, yeah. Pretty fucking simple shit to debunk. Now, another thing that was brought up. And this is one, I talked about it in one of my last videos about this shit. And that is population reduction. And it's funny because I mentioned population reduction and Bill Gates. And for those of you who haven't seen that, where I used to work at a coffee shop. There's a guy that came in. First off, he was one of these fucking conspiracy theorists that was stoned off of his ass, because most of the conspiracy theorists I know are stoners. It's a sad fucking fact, but it seems like they get high, and they go on the internet and they start reading this shit. And they're just, oh my god, dude, look at this shit. It's fucking disgusting, and this is true, and it's fucking stupid. And these people are fucking stupid. It's like, if you get high, that's one fucking thing, but if you get high and you read this shit and you just fucking accept it, whatever. But this guy, he would come in just fucked up high. I mean, fucking just stoned out of his ass. I could be standing fucking 6 feet away from him, and I could smell the goddamn pot on him as if he's standing right fucking here. But he was talking about this shit, like, he was really weird. Like, he would watch videos, like, because we had free Wi-Fi at the coffee shop. Like, he would watch these weird fucking videos, just strange shit, like planets exploding. And this is kind of off topic, but, like, videos of, like, really busty fucking girls at Renaissance festivals. But he tried to show me this video, like, hey, well, how do you explain this? Because, you know, I revealed to him I'm a fucking atheist, and I don't believe in, you know, supernatural shit. There's that video of, like, it looks like a fucking blue bag that's kind of going in the wind, and a camera caught it. He's like, how do you explain that? How do you explain that? But anyway, I said something about Bill Gates, because he was talking about atheists, you know, like, oh, they don't do anything. They don't do any good. I'm like, well, Bill Gates is a fucking atheist, and he's doing all the charity work. And he said, oh, population reduction? I'm like, and I knew what the fuck he was talking about. I'm like, no. So, funnily enough, whatever the fuck, someone on one of my videos tried to say that Bill Gates, he wants to reduce the population to 0. He said a few other things that aren't even fucking worth mentioning, honestly, because, well, they're just fucking stupid. But this one stuck out in my fucking head, and I said, do you have a fucking source for that? Because I've never fucking heard that. And people have sent me all kinds of shit, and they brought up a lot of points, but I've never heard he wants to reduce the population down to fucking 0. Down to nothing. Which is funny, because that would kill him, everyone he cares about, his family, etc. Everyone. The population to 0 does not mean, you know, a few million people. It means 0. So he said, just look up Bill Gates and population control. And I looked it up, and what comes up, it's a TED Talk video. And I watched this quite a while back, if I recall. I forget when I watched it, but I've seen it. I thought it was a really good talk. But he was talking about, and if I find, like, the exact video I saw, because it's just conspiracy theorist bullshit, and I'll get on that in a few. He was talking about things like global warming, and, you know, just shit like this, things that affect the environment and directly affect us. And he was talking about population, like he said, if we reduce the population 10 to 15%. Now, this is a pretty good fucking point to bring up, because the fact is, the more people you have, well, you have to house these people. Presumably. I mean, unless you just expect them to live on the fucking streets. But most people are going to live in some kind of house or an apartment, some kind of building. They need some kind of building. Well, beyond that, because, you know, those buildings will take up fucking space, and even if you have places that are, like, really densely populated, like New York, you know, where people don't have yards. Like here, yeah, I have a fucking pretty big backyard, this Ohio, a decent-sized front yard, which I don't do much with. I just mow the fucking grass. But, you know, even in places like that, you know, you have, you know, a lot of fucking buildings. You have to house these people. But beyond that, you have food. Now, if you eat meat, you have to have area to raise animals. You have to have fucking factory farms, or you have to have land to graze them. If you grow vegetables, you have to have land to do that. And that takes a lot of fucking space. And energy. If you have a lot of people, it takes a lot of fucking energy to power things. You know, just simple things like lights. We'll just say you have lights in your fucking house. And this is going beyond TVs and computers and shit like that. Okay, you have to have power plants for that. Well, the thing is, if you have too many fucking people, okay, you have way too many fucking people living in small areas, and then you have way too much land devoted to the food sources, I should say, and you have areas that are just devoted to energy. So that's what he's talking about. Ideally, if the population was reduced 10 to 15%, it would be better. You know, we would be a little bit better off. You know, if we had better access to things like birth control. But anyway, in this video, they're saying, oh, he wants to reduce the population. So, I called this fucking idiot out who made the comment. I said, he wants to reduce the population 10 to 15%. Where the fuck is that zero? So, instead of saying, some kind of bullshit straw man argument or something like that, he says, oh, well, no matter what, reducing the population is evil. Really? It's fucking evil, or is it smart? Is it smart to realize you have to have a balance? You have to have some kind of fucking balance. Humans, we're good at, causing fucking imbalances in nature. Good fucking example is here in Ohio with the hunting thing. Deer. They're way fucking overpopulated. Why is that? Well, because we wiped out the natural fucking predators. Now, humans do eat deer, even though I never understood that. I mean, the only thing I could really bear at the least was deer jerky. Deer meat's fucking disgusting. But we ate deer too, but the thing is they're overpopulated because they're basically nasty animals. They were prey animals, so they fuck a lot, and they have a lot of fucking offspring. Well, that's because they're prey animals. Prey animals, generally speaking, have a lot of offspring. Things like rabbits. A lot of things eat those. Squirrels. A lot of things eat those. So, we cause an imbalance in nature. So, that's our fucking fault. So, it's good to have a fucking good balance. Yeah, we can have a lot of people, but be a little fucking smart about it. Don't just fuck and have a bunch of kids and be stupid about it. But whatever, it's evil. It's gonna, and he actually said it's gonna be like the book 1984. It's like, I guarantee you he never even fucking read the book. Because it's that fucking typical conspiracy theorist shit. It's not fucking evil to say, people, they should be a little fucking smarter with having kids. It's more affordable if you actually just have a few fucking kids. You don't need fucking 12 kids. Not anymore. Maybe back in the day, yeah, you had 12 kids maybe because, well, they would help on the farm and shit. Or some of these kids, they're just going to fucking die. They're just going to up and die because, infant mortality was, pretty fucking terrible back in the day. Even these days, it's still not that great, but it's better than it was. And then some kids, there'd be accidents. They worked in fucking factories and shit. And they would get killed because the safety standards weren't exactly there. Which, that's one thing, they always question the government. Well, the government kind of helped with that, didn't they? Yeah. But, one thing I had mentioned earlier was people who should be smart enough to know better. I think I mentioned this earlier. Hopefully I did. If not, well, there are some people, they should be smart enough to know the fucking difference. Because in that fucking Bill Gates video, they were talking, like, they kind of took a quote from him where he said, vaccinations, that's something that's, near and dear to him. Because the thing is, if you don't know a lot about Bill Gates, he's basically giving up a lot of money to do charity work. Now, you can say whatever the fuck you want about him, that, he basically created monopolies, even though if it weren't for Microsoft, computers would not be as fucking affordable as they are today. Microsoft really did do that for us. And yeah, Bill Gates and Microsoft, they did fuck a lot of people over. They bought out a lot of companies and kind of dicked them, but then again, a lot of companies did that, like Nike. Some people have Nike shit, especially in the 90s, they had all that shit, but I guarantee you that fucking swoosh symbol, which they can throw that on a shirt and get, $100 or something out of it, I guarantee you they pay the person who designed that, maybe $50. It's like, just design us a logo, and then just, okay, there you go, and then they're making a fucking killing. But the thing is, Bill Gates, he devotes a lot of his fucking time, energy, and money to charities. Now, thing is, vaccinations, that's a big one. Because there's a big conspiracy theory out there, basically. The reason I was bringing up people who should know better, there's a guy who, I like a lot of what he says, but he pisses me off sometimes where I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And that is Bill Maher. He's one of these anti-vax people. Now, Rith, Rob, whatever you want to call him, Cardinal Virtues, he brought up a good point on Facebook. He said, Bill Maher, it's funny that, he's always accusing the Republicans of being anti-science when he's anti-vaccine. Great fucking point. Because the thing about vaccines is, are they good? Yes. Could there be connections to autism? There could be, but the science says so far, no. There's no fucking direct causality between these fucking vaccinations and autism. There is no fucking direct correlation between the two. Even one of the Kennedys, I forget which Kennedy it is, he's the one, he kind of talks like in a shaky voice. He's bitch about it. Oh, it's causing this. Now, some vaccinations, they will fuck people up. In fact, I know a family. They have a son. He was a perfectly healthy baby boy. Everything was great. You know, nothing was wrong with him. They gave him some vaccinations, and now he's fucked up. Like, he literally cannot do anything. He's in a wheelchair. He can't even control himself. And they basically just had to sit him in front of a TV because he's there, but he's not. And that's because of some of these vaccinations. And unfortunately, it fucked him up. But the thing is, I'm going to quote Star Trek here. The good of the many outweighs the good of the few, or the one. I'm sorry, but vaccinations are a good thing. Are they going to fuck some people up? Yes. But then again, milk can fuck some people up. Certain medicines can fuck some people up. Yes, it can have adverse effects, but the thing is, overall, it's a good fucking thing. But, you know, of course, conspiracy theorists, they want to act like, conspiracy theorists, I should say, they want to act like vaccinations are controlling us and doing this and this and this, even though people are a hell of a lot fucking healthier than they used to be, aren't they? They are. We can diagnose illnesses quicker, better, and treat them. We don't know. I mean, because even my wife falls into some of this shit. Like, I think everything's giving us cancer. No, it's not. How do you know? Well, I just think that we can diagnose things better. You know, we probably didn't know that these cancers were killing people. You know, people were smoking, you know, like fucking chimneys for the longest time. We probably had no idea that lung cancer is a real fucking risk. It's pretty fucking serious. Now we can say, okay, this is what's causing it. If you end up getting it, well, we have treatments. You may not survive, but we can kind of, you know, conclude you have cancer by certain, you know, whatever. You know, it just... But they just buy this shit. They buy it hook, line, and fucking sinker, don't they? And that's the sad thing. You know, they say this shit, and then when you have some kind of counter argument, either they have something really fucking weak, because since I've been doing this for so fucking long, and I've read the shit, I've heard the shit, I've seen the shit, I've gotten pretty good at it. And just about every fucking argument, I can basically counter. But they either put some weak-ass argument, or they just don't comment back. Because they know they have nothing. And that's the thing. Truth seekers. Truth seekers. That's what they call themselves, basically. If they're truth seekers, when they want the truth, when they want to talk about this shit with other people, when they want to hear other ideas, when they want to hear every fucking possible scenario, I mean, that's what I would think. You know, when you want to hear the fucking counter arguments, and if there are counter arguments, if there's something to debunk that counter argument, wouldn't you want to hear that? I would think so. Fuck, when I was looking into evolution, and I can't fucking spout this shit off just like, oh yeah, here's why this happens and that happens. I can't, but I can understand it when it's being said. When some people say, well, here's why creationism is true. And then I hear the counter argument to that. It's like, okay, no, I'm sorry. Evolution is a fucking fact. Period. And I'm not saying like that no conspiracy theory is correct. But the thing is, it's on shaky fucking ground. Especially when you have people that spout that every fucking thing that happens, it must be a conspiracy. It must be. It has to be. You know, there's no other fucking way around this. It has to be a fucking conspiracy. The government's doing yet something else that's fucking with us. That's taking our rights away. It's absolute fucking bullshit. You know, and that's the thing. But before I end this video, I just want to mention one more thing. Because I had mentioned, you know, basically proof. I always say, when people say this, do you have evidence for this? You're making the positive assertion. I'm saying, I don't believe you. It's been brought up a couple of fucking times that, well, you're making a positive assertion too. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. You're saying it's bullshit. Now, the thing is, back in the day, they didn't really say bullshit. They would say things like hogwash or humbug. if someone said creationism is hogwash, it's basically the same fucking thing. You're just saying, that's bullshit. You're just saying, I don't believe it. Do you have proof to back you up? No, you don't. I'm not saying, you know, out of sheer ignorance, this is bullshit. That's stupid. No, I'm saying this because there's no evidence to back it up yet. There's a huge fucking movement out there that's saying that people like me, we're sheep, we're wrong, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, we haven't done the research. So no, I'm not making a positive assertion here. I'm saying, I don't believe you. You are saying this is a fact. The government's doing this. There's some fucking big conspiracy going on here. And that unless we stop it now, it's going to do such and such. And I've covered all the fucking scenarios and shit. You know, population reduction and, you know, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But one thing I love about these fucking people is they want to talk about this shit. Like, if we don't do this, even though the fact is, maybe this is a conspiracy. I don't know. Most people, including these conspiracy fucks, if this shit did happen, and as long as they had, you know, a few of their favorite TV channels, they're not going to fucking care. They're not going to fucking care. And like I said, maybe that is a conspiracy. I don't know. But like I said, even some of these dickheads, what are they going to do? They're going to keep on reading websites about how the government's fucking them over instead of doing something about it. You know, what are they doing? They're going on the internet, telling people like me they're fucking wrong. Wow. Such a fucking hero you are. God, this shit's so fucking pathetic. And like I said, I could just keep going with this fucking series forever. Because all I have to do is wait for the comments to come in. And read what they say. Listen to what they say. And then go and look at the shit that they're citing. It's fucking pathetic. It really is. It's just... like I've said before, I'm embarrassed I used to believe this shit. But anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like I said, I might be uploading some more videos. I'm thinking about getting my secondary channel that I've done nothing with for quite some time back going. I mean, YouTube's been pretty boring. Might as well do something I consider fun. But, you know, I might do something I don't know as of yet. But anyway, this is Bad 5, and hope you guys have a good one.